Me and you. Yeah.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another marvelous video with me, Ray Jericho. Welcome, fellow Batman enthusiasts! If you're like me, you grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, marveling at the Dark Knight's incredible gadgets and fighting skills, and rooting for him to take down the villains of Gotham City. But did you ever stop to think about the more subtle, adult-oriented jokes and references that were peppered throughout the show? That is right, folks. While Batman the Animated Series may have been aimed at a younger audience, it is no secret that the writers and animators slipped in plenty of humor and allusions that only the grown-ups watching could appreciate. From clever wordplay to innuendos and cultural references, there are plenty of moments in the show that you might have missed if you are not paying close attention. But fear not, because we have got you covered. In this video, we'll be exploring some of the most clever and hilarious adult jokes and references in Batman the Animated Series. So grab a bowl of popcorn, settle in, and get ready to laugh, and maybe blush a little, as we uncover the adult humor lurking in the shadows of Gotham City. Whether you are a die-hard Batman fan or just looking for a good chuckle, this video is sure to be great. So let us get another marvelous video started, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
It was a small subpoena.
Harley's risque joke. When attempting to bust a criminal out of jail, Harley uses her wit to outsmart a detective. After he questions her familiarity, she quips that she might have served him a subpoena before adding the cheeky punchline, "It was a very small subpoena." It is a clever and subtle jab that may have gone over the heads of younger viewers, but for those who caught the reference, it was quite the small package of humor. The darker side of Batman's villains. Batman's villains have been unsettling for a long time, and for good reason. The Caped Crusader's grim demeanor calls for an equally dark rogues gallery. In the series, the Mad Hatter takes the creep factor to a whole new level. After developing an obsession with a girl whose name was Alice, the irony, he puts her in his control by brainwashing her and takes her to an abandoned amusement park. The show conveniently skips over the disturbing details of how he undressed and dressed her while she was under his control. Being a kid, it is easy to miss the implication of Batman's showdown with the Mad Hatter, but in hindsight, it is clear that the villain's actions were downright gross.
You silly, and you're so smart. I just love a man with brains.
Suggestive sounds and lascivious grins. In cartoons, it is common for animators to use visual cues to show a character's attraction to another. But in Batman the Animated Series, the Riddler takes things to a new level. At a fancy party where he is pretending to be good, a sultry woman approaches him. The moment he lays eyes on her, a boing sound effect plays, followed by a lecherous grin. It is not difficult to guess what the sound implies. It is surprising that the show was able to get away with implying such excitement, especially considering its target audience.
A world completely free of crime, free of suffering, free of
The tragic tale of a robot's sentience. Sentience is a bit like trying to explain why pineapple on pizza is both delicious and contentious. It is complicated. And when robots start to exhibit human-like emotions, it is like adding anchovies to the mix. Things can get pretty intense. Take the Batman animated series, for example. In one episode, a robot clone of Batman is created to help an AI take over the world. But the robot thinks it's the real deal. And when it realizes the truth, it's all like, holy identity crisis, Batman. Things get even more emotionally charged when the duplicate accidentally thinks it has killed the real Batman. I mean, that is some serious robo-guilt right there. It is like when you accidentally step on your little brother's Lego creation and feel terrible about it for hours. But this robot Batman takes it to the next level and sacrifices itself to make amends. I mean, that is some pretty heavy stuff for a kid's show. It is as if SpongeBob suddenly started grappling with the existential dread of being an anthropomorphic sea sponge. So yeah, sentience is a tricky topic, especially for kids. But if a robot Batman can make us feel all the feelings, then maybe we are not so different after all. The taboo of suicide. Suicide may be a dark and serious topic, but that does not mean it can't be explored in creative ways. Batman the Animated Series and Inception both take a dive into the taboo waters of self-inflicted dream ending. It is like a game of what is the worst that can happen, with dire consequences. The Mad Hatter, usually a whimsical character, takes a twisted turn in trapping Batman in a dream world that is too good to be true. It is like a fantasy where all your dreams come true. Of course, our Caped Crusader's dream is that his parents are back from the grave, and being a good husband to lovely Selina Kyle. And when Batman realizes it is all a sham, he does not just shake it off and move on. No. He takes a page out of the Wile E. Coyote playbook and jumps off a building. It's like a Looney Tunes gag, but with a much darker punchline.
What are you doing?
The terrifying fate of villains in cartoons. The good old days of childhood innocence, when we were taught that good guys always triumph over evil in cartoons. But sometimes, the punishment that villains received was so chilling that it makes us wonder if they really deserved it. Take the case of Grant Walker in the Batman animated series. Walker was obsessed with immortality and forced Mr. Freeze to create a suit for him, threatening to harm Freeze's wife, Nora, if he did not comply. Batman intervened, and Freeze realized the error of his ways when faced with his wife's moral compass. But the punishment he gave Walker was nothing short of bone-chilling. Freeze trapped Walker at the bottom of the ocean, alive and immortal, with no hope of escape. It's like a twisted version of The Little Mermaid, but with no happy ending in sight. The screams that he let out as he realized the gravity of his situation still give me goosebumps. While he may have been used to seeing the villains get what they deserved in cartoons, the punishment meted out to Grant Walker was a stark reminder that justice can sometimes be a double-edged sword. It's like the saying goes, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, or in this case, trapped at the bottom of the ocean for all eternity.
Isn't it cool? Bye.
Roxy Rocket's shocking climax. Roxy Rocket may have seemed like just another quirky villain looking for thrills, but her first appearance in Batman the Animated Series had a climax that was far too intense for children. Roxy planned to ride a rocket into the Earth with a blazing inferno, with Batman on board with her. As the rocket started going down at a higher speed, Roxy began moaning, "Oh yes, oh yes." It is the kind of moaning that is usually reserved for something far less explosive and far more adult, and the last moan she let out just as the rocket burst was far from subtle and definitely not suitable for kids. It is the kind of moan that would make even the most stoic of parents blush and wonder if they should be watching the show with their kids. Looking back, it is surprising that the show got away with such a blatant scene. Maybe the censors were distracted by all the explosions and superhero antics, or maybe they just had a sense of humor. Either way, it is a reminder that even in children's shows, there can be moments that are far more adult than they first appear. Dealing with addiction. Gotham City is a place where crime and villainy run rampant, and Batman the Animated Series does not shy away from exploring the darker side of the city. One episode in particular features crime boss Arnold Stromwell, who deals heavily in drugs. But what makes this episode stand out is how it handles the topic of addiction. Stromwell's own son Joey becomes addicted to the drugs from his father's dealers. It is a stark reminder that addiction can affect anyone, even the children of those who profit from it. Batman intervenes and helps Joey enter a clinic to deal with his addiction. It is a powerful moment that shows kids the negative effects of drug use and the importance of seeking help. But the episode does not stop there. It shows the consequences of Stromwell's actions and how they have affected his family. In the end, Arnold recognizes the error of his ways and reforms himself, giving him as happy an ending as a former crime boss can have. The episode is deserving of a PG-13 rating if one existed for animated shows. A suggestive remark. Clayface is undoubtedly one of Batman's most grotesque villains, resembling a misshapen blob of mud in human form. But in the animated series, there's a woman named Stella Bates who loves him so deeply that she works to help him return to normal. When Batman and Alfred are puzzled by this, Alfred quips that perhaps she enjoys mud baths before they learn of her history with Clayface. Being a kid, you might have taken this remark at face value, but considering Clayface is made completely out of mud, it is possible that a bath with him would indeed be an intimate affair involving mud. It is a suggestive remark that adds a humorous tone to the scene, but it is also a subtle nod to the adult audience. It is the kind of joke that would go over kids' heads, but would make the parents chuckle knowingly.
You creep! I hate you! I hate you!
The dark path of revenge. Revenge can be a powerful motivator, but it can also lead our heroes down a dark path. In Batman the Animated Series, Dick Grayson, aka Robin, was the relatable kid sidekick who viewers could identify with. However, when the man who killed Grayson's family, Tony Zuko, resurfaces in Gotham, Robin becomes consumed with vengeance. Batman tries to intervene and stop him, but Robin angrily pushes his mentor aside. As the episode progresses, Robin teeters on the edge of killing Zuko, but ultimately stops himself at the last moment. This moment shows what makes a hero, as Robin chooses the path of justice over revenge. The moment is made even sweeter when Batman reveals that the real reason he wanted Robin to stay away from Zuko was not to prevent him from killing, but to keep him safe. It is a reminder that even Batman, the Dark Knight of Gotham, cares deeply for his protege and is willing to do whatever it takes to protect him. While the theme of revenge may be dark for a children's show, the episode handled it well and showed the importance of choosing the right path. It is a reminder that heroes are not defined by their desire for vengeance, but by their ability to make the right choices, even in the face of great adversity.
Tell me what these do.
Suggestive imagery. The Riddler, a notorious criminal mastermind, is always drawn to women, even when he tries to quit his criminal ways and creates puzzle toys for a company. During a celebration of the company's success, a blonde beauty catches his eye. She approaches him and asks in a sultry voice, "Mr. Riddler, can you explain what these do?" as she shows a pair of balls in her hands. Although the balls may have been a type of puzzle, the suggestive imagery is unmistakable. The animated series was clearly not attempting to conceal its suggestive nature. Although the show was intended for children, it is not unusual for animated programs to incorporate subtle adult humor or suggestive imagery that may go unnoticed by kids.
Search your feelings, Tigress. You know he's wrong.
The complexities of relationships. The classic tale of a woman turned into a feline to mate with a male cat monster. Just another day in the life of Catwoman. While the kids are probably scratching their heads at her newfound hairiness, the episode actually delves into some serious relationship issues. The plot revolves around an evil scientist who sees Selena as nothing more than a breeding machine for his genetically created monsters. The injection that transforms her into a human-cat hybrid is a clear violation of her bodily autonomy, and a disturbing example of using someone for one's own gain. But fear not, dear viewers. For Tigress, the aforementioned cat monster turns out to be a decent chap and sees the errors of his creator's ways. He defeats the scientist and gives Selena the antidote to reverse the transformation, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and consent in any relationship. So while the episode may have been marketed towards children, it tackles some pretty mature themes. And hey, if nothing else, it is a reminder that you should always read the label before injecting mysterious liquids into your body. You never know when you might end up with a furrier wardrobe.
Don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
A suggestive line. Harley Quinn. The clown princess of crime who will stop at nothing to get her Mr. J's attention, even if it means saying some pretty cringe-worthy things. In one episode of Batman the Animated Series, Harley goes all out to get Joker's attention by dressing up in red and offering to rev up his Harley. While some might interpret this as a motorcycle reference, it's pretty clear that Harley is not talking about two wheels, but something a bit more intimate. Now, as an adult, it is easy to pick up on the innuendo, but as a kid, you might miss the not-so-subtle hidden meaning and assume that Harley just wants to spend time with Joker. But make no mistake, the suggestive joke is definitely not appropriate for children. But hey, this kind of risque humor is nothing new for the show, which often includes subtle adult jokes or innuendos that might go over kids' heads. In this case, however, it is a bit more explicit, and it just goes to show that even in the world of superheroes and supervillains, things can get pretty steamy. The trauma of parental loss. It is no secret that many kids' movies and shows have a recurring theme of dead parents and children with no one to rely on. Disney princesses, for example, seem to lose their parents at an alarming rate. However, the death of Robin's parents in Batman lore is a particularly extreme example. In the comics, criminal Tony Zuko sabotaged the ropes that the Flying Graysons used during their circus performance, as the owner refused to pay protection money. As a result, both of Dick Grayson's parents fell to their deaths right in front of him. him. This traumatizing event left an indelible mark on Dick, who would later become Robin, Batman's trusted sidekick. As children, watching this gruesome scene unfold was undoubtedly unsettling. It is hard to imagine the emotional toll it would take on a child to witness the death of their parents in such a brutal fashion. The death of Robin's parents serves as a reminder that even in the world of superheroes, tragedy can strike at any moment and leave a lasting impact on those affected.
About some Leggy, Damon, Nylons. Or have I answered my own question?
Stereotypical portrayal of female heroes. Zatanna Zatara, like many female heroes in media, is depicted as conventionally beautiful and uses her looks to get attention. When she appeared in the animated series, Zatanna finds herself with a problem when her trick leads to her being implicated in a bank robbery. Batman decides to help her out, and Zatanna questions his reasons for helping her, asking if it is because she's a Leggy Damon Nylons. The line is a stereotypical portrayal of a female hero, reducing her to her physical appearance and suggesting that she is only valuable because of her looks. It is disappointing to see such a one-dimensional portrayal of a female character, and it perpetuates the harmful idea that a woman's worth is based on her looks. Additionally, it is out of character for Zatanna to introduce herself in such a manner, especially since she is a powerful magician who can hold her own. The show missed an opportunity to portray a strong and complex female hero, instead of relying on tired stereotypes.
This was a setup. The jazz man was ready for us.
The trauma of violence. Jim Gordon is a member of Batman's closest allies and a father figure to him, along with Alfred. When Gordon is shot, it is a traumatic event for both Batman and the viewers. Batman is consumed with guilt and grief, questioning whether he has done any difference in his battle with crime. The scene is a reminder that even heroes can fail and that violence has consequences. It is jarring to see a character get shot on a children's show, but it also shows the impact of violence and the responsibility that comes with being a hero. The show does not shy away from the consequences of violence and the emotional toll it takes on those affected by it.
Happy anniversary, Mr. Jones.
Harley Quinn's sticky surprise for Joker's anniversary. Harley Quinn never fails to surprise her beloved Joker with her outlandish ideas of how to celebrate special occasions. And on the anniversary of the Clown Prince of Crime's transformation, she decided to go all out with a big, gooey pile that had her name written all over it. As the Joker walked into their hideout, he was greeted by the sight of Harley immersed in the center of the pie, with the sticky filling all over her. She emerged from the pie singing a song to the tune of Happy Birthday and invited the Joker to join in the festivities. Of course, we all know what that invitation really meant. It was an invitation for the Joker to indulge in some not-so-innocent activities. But, as per usual, the Joker rejected Harley's advances, leaving her with hurt feelings and sticky pie filling all over her. It is a good thing that the child audiences were spared from witnessing that particular scene. But let's face it is just another day in the life of Harley Quinn. She may be a little crazy, but she knows where to draw the line most of the time. Happy anniversary, Joker.
$250 million?
When reality strikes, the Joker and the IRS. It is a well-known fact that kids' shows have to walk the fine line between entertaining and educational, but sometimes they miss the mark entirely. Take, for example, the Joker's inheritance of $250 million. Sure, it sounds like a dream come true, but as many adults know, money can't buy happiness. It can only buy a lot of shiny toys and a hefty tax bill. Of course, explaining taxes to a child is like trying to teach a cat to drive a car. It is not impossible, but it's definitely going to take some time and a lot of scratching. The Joker's decision to pay up might seem like a boring plot point to a young audience, but for us grown-ups, it's a hilarious reminder that even the most deadly villains have to pay their dues. In the end, the Joker might not have gotten the happy ending he was hoping for, but at least he did not end up on the wrong side of the law this time. And who knows, maybe he will use his remaining fortune to buy some new jokes that actually land with the kiddos. After all, it is never too early to learn the art of a good punchline.
So you'll try to squeeze some info from his assistant tonight.
Well,
Bruce Wayne's inappropriate innuendos. We all know Bruce Wayne as the dashing billionaire playboy, but sometimes he takes his charming persona a little too far. While planning his next steps with his trusted businessman Lucius Fox, Bruce throws out an innuendo that would make even the most seasoned flirt blush. When Lucius asks whether Bruce is going to squeeze some information from a source, Bruce replies with a nod and a cartoonish wink, saying that squeeze may not be the most appropriate word. Ew, just gross, Batman. As viewers, we You're used to seeing Bruce Wayne use his charm to get what he wants, but this kind of inappropriate humor just does not sit right. We want the dark vigilante we know and love, not some smarmy flirt who can't seem to control his impulses. Let us hope Bruce remembers his true identity as Batman and leaves the innuendos at the door. We do not need that kind of humor in a kid's show, or any show for that matter.
I am Clayface.
The dark and depressing tale of Clayface and Little Annie. The new Batman Adventures episode featuring Clayface and Little Annie is like a roller coaster ride. It starts off innocent and sweet, but quickly takes a dark turn that leaves you feeling emotionally drained. It's like going on a date with someone you think is amazing, only to discover they're actually a supervillain in disguise. At first, Little Annie seems like the perfect picture of innocence, a child lost and alone on the streets of Gotham. But as the story unfolds, we learn that she's actually a sentient scout created by Clayface. It is like finding out your imaginary friend is actually a government spy. And just when you think things can't get any worse, Annie sacrifices herself to save Robin from Clayface. It is a tragic moment that hits you right in the feels. It is like watching Bambi's mom get shot all over again. The fact that Annie was always a part of Clayface just adds another layer of sadness to the story. It's like realizing that your best friend was actually a figment of your imagination all along. In the end, the episode leaves you with a sense of melancholy and a reminder that life is not always sunshine and rainbows. Even in a world of superheroes and villains, it is like dark chocolate, bittersweet, and leaves a lasting impression.
Naughty Mr. Batmans. You play too rough.
Baby Doll, a forgotten villain in Batman's gallery. When it comes to Batman's gallery of rogues, there are some villains that stand out as particularly memorable, but Baby Doll is not one of them. While she's certainly creepy enough, she lacks the pizzazz and charisma of some of Batman's other foes. Baby Doll's backstory is certainly tragic. She was born with systemic hyperplasia, a condition that keeps her looking like a small child. This worked well for her when she was an actress on a sitcom, but her condition prevented her from getting any serious roles. This rejection sent her over the edge, and she turned to a life of crime. Batman and Robin ultimately foil her plans, but as she runs away, she catches a glimpse of herself in a funhouse's distorted mirror. For the first time, she sees herself as an adult, something she's never been able to do before. In a fit of rage, she shoots all the mirrors before breaking down and following Batman in silence. While Baby Doll may not be the most memorable villain in Batman's world, her story is certainly a tragic one. Her desperation to be seen as an adult and her inability to do so is a reminder that appearances can be deceiving and that we should never judge someone based on their physical appearance. Facing fear as a costumed hero alongside Batman. As a costumed hero fighting alongside Batman, my worst fear would be losing my loved ones. It is a fear that many superheroes share, as the danger of their world often puts those closest to them in harm's way. We see this fear come to life in the episode of Batman the Animated Series, where Scarecrow sprays Batgirl with fear gas. In her worst nightmare, Batgirl dies, and the consequences are devastating. Commissioner Gordon, who is also her father, blames Batman and tries to have him arrested. Batman and Robin are forced to go on the run, and even Alfred gets locked up. The episode is a terrifying reminder of the risks that come along with being a costumed hero. The fear of losing loved ones is always present, and it is a fear that can be exploited by villains like Scarecrow. But at the same time, it is a reminder of the strength and resilience of heroes like Batman and Batgirl. They face their fears head-on, even when the consequences are dire. They never give up, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. As a costumed hero, facing fear is just part of the job, but it is a job that must be done, no matter how terrifying it may be.
That's why you gotta protect me. You're the only one who can. I'll make it worth your while.
Misunderstanding adult references in children's shows. As children, we often hear adult references in TV shows and movies that go right over our heads. One such instance occurs in the new Batman Adventures episode where Batman is trying to protect Rockstar Cassidy from the villain Firefly. Cassidy invites Batman to spend the night with her, saying she will make it worth his while. As a child, the true meaning of this invitation may not have been clear, and it is easy to assume that she simply wanted to hang out with Batman and maybe even play some music together. But as we grow older, we realize the true meaning behind Cassidy's invitation, and it is a reminder of how much we miss as children when watching adult-oriented shows. It is also a reminder of the importance of age-appropriate content, as children may not fully understand the context and the meaning behind certain references. While it is certainly possible to navigate these tricky waters as a writer or producer of children's shows, it is important to keep in mind that children may not always understand the full implications of the content they are consuming. As adults, we can look back on these moments and and chuckle at our naivete, but it is important to remember that not all children may have the same level of understanding. The animated series, teaching valuable life lessons. Batman the Animated Series not only provided top-notch entertainment, but also taught young viewers valuable life lessons. One such lesson is the importance of being honest and upfront with your intentions. In the episode where Dick invites his university friend Cindy to his room to study calculus, it is clear that both of them have other plans in mind. They exchange flirtatious glances, and it is obvious that they are not planning on studying much calculus that night. But when Batman calls him for some high-flying crime fighting, Dick is forced to abandon his plans with Cindy. The episode serves as a reminder that it is important to be honest with others about your intentions. If you are not interested in studying calculus, it is better to be upfront about it than to lead someone on. While the episode may have included some subtle innuendos that may have gone over the heads of younger viewers at the time, it is still a reminder of the importance of honesty and communication in any relationship. In the end, Batman the Animated Series provided not only exciting adventures, but also valuable life lessons that could be applied in the real world.
Well, Batsy, it's been a hoot, as always. But I really must run.
The tragic cycle of abuse. Batman the Animated Series introduced viewers to a tragic cycle of abuse, exemplified by the toxic relationship between Harley Quinn and the Joker. While Harley was instantly likable to fans, the Joker's fondness for her was fickle, and the show constantly displayed his disregard for her and her slavish devotion to him. The episode Mad Love perfectly demonstrates their relationship and paints Harley as a tragic victim. The Joker manipulates her into helping him with a plan, only to turn on her and leave her for dead. This leads to a series of events where Harley reflects on their relationship and how she has been mistreated by the Joker time and time again. The cycle of abuse is a tragic reality, and the show's portrayal of it is a valuable lesson for young viewers. It shows the devastating effects of emotional and physical abuse, and how victims can struggle to break free from their abusers. Harley's story is a reminder that even the most likable and sympathetic characters can be trapped in abusive relationships. The show's portrayal of her as a victim serves as a powerful message about the importance of recognizing and standing up against abuse in all its forms. In the end, Batman the Animated Series not only provided thrilling adventures, but also tackled important real-world issues, including the difficult topic of abuse and its devastating effects.
Don't I know you from someplace?
I think I served you a subpoena once.
Marvelous verdict. Well, Bat fans, we hope you have enjoyed this deep dive into the adult jokes and references hidden in Batman the Animated Series. It just goes to show that even a kid's show can have plenty of humor and clever allusions for the grown-ups watching. So the next time you revisit Batman the Animated Series, keep an eye out for those hidden gems. You might just find yourself appreciating the show in a whole new way. And who knows, maybe you will even impress your friends with your newfound knowledge of Batman trivia. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep on laughing and enjoying all the little things that make our favorite shows and movies so special. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, have a good one, folks.